Hey guys, my name is Vicky Luecht and here is Mitchell Phillips. We co-own and co-direct Real Fitness Training in Castle Hill, and I'm here to chat to you today about goal setting. So as promised last week, I said I would chat to you guys about goal setting and how to make the most effective goals, but also implement and action them. So I've brought Mitch along because I believe he's got a really good way of explaining goal setting and more and deeper down into actually how to make goal setting happen. So before we get started, if you could get your laptop out or you've got your phone out, obviously, you can put it in your notes section or just grab a paper and pen. I love paper and pen personally because putting paper to pen really sets it in stone. Or putting it even on a whiteboard. So we're quite known for our whiteboards over the time, and we have a fair few whiteboards in our house and then also in the office at work. Okay, so first of all, I want to think about your intention. Most importantly is focusing on what you want to achieve by the end of 2019. I like separating my goals into 5 main things, which is I do career, I do financial, relationships, body, so health, and then I also do spiritual. That's right. I knew there was one missing. And spiritual. And under those 5, I would write 3 or 2 goals, depending on each one, of what I'd like to achieve by the end of 2019. And what I think is really, really exciting is the end of 2019 is actually getting there and ticking some of them off. It's a real powerful and an exciting feeling. And anything that wasn't ticked off, I usually bring it into the next 2020. So also remember, goals are very flexible. So what you may want to achieve by the end of 2019 today may change in 3 months. And being a little bit more flexible with your goals will take the anxiety and the pressure off yourself as well. So let's get started. So you're going to write down, if you'd like, those 5 different categories. And then from there, that's what he's also here for, to help me with words. But to write down what you'd like to achieve on each one of them, 2 or 3. And then from there, we're going to break them down into bite-sized pieces. So one of the most famous analogies is, how do you eat an elephant? It's 1 bite at a time. So we're going to pick 1 bite at a time with our goals. So in the next 90 days, how are we going to be able to work towards that 12-month goal? What do we need to implement to get to that 12-month goal? Before I go any further, I want to make sure that the goals are SMART goals. And what SMART goals are, they're specific, so they have a number to it or a deadline to them. They're measurable. So measurable goals might be, for example, I would like to, by the end of 2019, I would like to be 5% body fat lighter. I would like to be practicing meditation every day. That could be a measurable goal because I'd be able to measure that. Then the next one is attainable. So something that's definitely attainable for you. So make sure you don't do something that is really, really hard to achieve. So if I know that I need to lose 5% body fat by the end of 2019, I need to make sure that's actually attainable for me. So what's the average per week that I need to lose to be able to get there? And is that realistic with my current lifestyle, with my current circumstances? And what am I willing to change to be able to get to there as well? The next one is attainable. The next one is realistic, so much the same. So making sure they're realistic goals that are achievable, because you don't want to feel like you're failing. There's no such thing as failure, as we know, but it is important to not make sure we're putting too much pressure on ourselves where it does feel like that. The next one is time-based. So again, making sure it does have an end date and working towards that end date. So Mitch, how do you believe, and what works best for the clients that you train to work towards, and what do we use in Real Fitness Training to help our clients achieve their best results?
Yeah, cool. So a lot of the time what tends to happen is people will go into a new year or a new quarter or a new month, whatever it may be, and they're going to go, I want to lose X amount of weight in X amount of days or weeks or whatever it may be. But we know that a lot of the time is just setting people up for failure more often than not. At the end of that, let's say 4 kilos of focus, in that 4th week, they start to return to their old patterns of action and they tend to put on weight. Now, when we look at the situation, the diet isn't what's wrong. The diet still works. What happened after the diet is that they've gone to their old behaviours. Okay. So the key thing we like to focus on is, rather than having people focus solely on the outcome that they want to achieve, so that 4 kilos in 4 weeks, at 5 kilos in whatever, we want to work towards more of the patterns of action. Okay, so the behaviours that are going to allow you to drop that weight, but also maintain that weight for ongoing. Okay, so the diet's not the problem. The problem is the lack of education to the diet and experience.
So giving ourselves more education, how we can actually implement that into our lifestyle. So just say I had a goal to lose 5% body fat by the end of 2019. What would be an example of a behavioural change towards that?
Yeah, cool. So the first thing we'd have to do is we'd have to assess you properly.
Yeah.
So different behaviours will work for different people. It really depends on where they're at. So the answer to your question is it depends. But like as a rule of thumb, through my 10 years of coaching experience, a lot of the behaviours people need to change is like mindful eating.
Yeah.
So taking the time to be conscious of the food they're eating, which is going to allow them not to overeat in certain sit-ins.
Okay. So a goal for me this week. So just say my goal is by end of 2009 I want to lose 5% body fat. So how am I going to get there this week? My goal, my behavioural goal will be that rather than saying, I need to lose 0.5% this week if I want to get there. Okay, well then how am I going to do that? I'm going to eat mindfully for lunch and dinner. And what that means to me is actually putting work aside and my phone, any technology, no TV, whatever it is around me, and just be with me and my food. So that would be eating mindfully for me. And I'd need to do that for lunch and dinner for 7 days. Excellent. Cool. And then you reassess, I'm guessing?
Yeah. So at the end of the week, if you have a coach, you sit down with your coach, or if you're doing it by yourself, you'd reassess to see how you went with a particular behaviour change.
Yeah.
If it was a success, you would then look towards another behaviour change. So, you might be like, okay, so this week I'm going to track my food to see what my intake's like.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you haven't nailed that first behaviour, don't implement a new one.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to continue to implement the first behaviour once you've mastered it. It's going to be there every week. Okay, so every week I'm now eating mindfully for lunch and dinner. Week number 2, I'm going to chuck in, I'm going to have tracking my food. Yeah. You master that, then you're in another behaviour.
So if in that week I don't achieve mastering mindfully for 7 days, but I do 4, then my next goal for that week could be to do 7 or to do at least 5. So you're just working and you're building on those habits. Your habits literally create who you are. Everything from your relationship to your career to your discipline with time, your discipline with your routine and exercise to nutrition. It's our habits that literally create who we are today. So, and people aren't just born with habits. Some habits for me have taken me a lot longer to master than others, but we're not born with them. It's something that we need to create, and also make sure that we're not just setting limiting beliefs. Well, I've never done that in the last 20, 30, 40 years. It's just really challenging those beliefs and making sure that we're still aligned with our current goal. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like sometimes we want this goal, but then we're not willing, and we're measuring the same thing each week, but yet we're not changing anything to get to that goal. So we keep weighing ourselves and going, it's not working, it's not doing anything, but really we're not changing our habits to make it work. So I think that's more measurable. I'd rather someone saying to me, well, I ate mindfully for 7 days, and someone go to me, I've lost 0.5 kilo, to be honest, because now I know they're changing their habits, which is going to, as a byproduct, allow them to reach their goals.
Correct, but not only that, they're going to achieve their goal, and they've changed their patterns of action along the serve. So it's going to be a long-term thing rather than just hey, I've lost 4 kilos in 4 weeks, now I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing before. Yeah. Over the next 4 weeks, they put the 4 kilos back on, plus a little bit more. Yeah. Whereas this way, the dieting is going to be success through not just the dieting phase, but also the education each week about what they need to master and change to maintain their results long term.
Yeah, and I think that's really what the coaches at RFT do as well, is really hone in on what habits and education we need to be able to give our clients. Do remember, guys, as well, stats is showing that it takes 66 days to create a habit. So be kind with yourself and keep working on it. Just because you didn't achieve it one day doesn't mean you give up on the next day, or you start Monday, or you start next month, or when your birthday's finished. Building habits is actually building them in the hardest time possible, I believe. Like, I pat myself on the back when I'm able to still achieve my habits, my good, healthy habits, even in times that are extremely busier, or, there are a lot of social events on. It's a real achievement to do that. And you're building your strength, you're building that muscle up to get stronger at those habits in the hardest times possible. So keep working on them, guys. If you have any questions, please post them below. But write down your goals, write down when you want to achieve them by. Make sure they're smart and attainable, obviously.
Attach some behaviours.
And attach behaviours to them and see what that helps. In 12 weeks, imagine the changes you can seriously make. Even if that's 1, 2, or 3 habits, that's going to be with you for the rest of your life. So keep it up, guys, and don't ever give up. Just keep working towards those goals, because you're going to be aligning yourself with your truest and highest potential possible as a human. Thanks, guys. Have a good Sunday.